We just got dumped a ton of storyline information for Call of Duty World War II Zombies, and oh my gosh, was this amazing. Holy crap, this was actually really cool, and oh my gosh, it's something I just want to skip to right away and just talk about it, but I'm gonna have to control myself because this is by far the coolest thing I've seen inside World War II Zombies ever from its entire existence. This is just so cool. The only downside to this is that it's not actually in game, and given it's not in another community update, but it's actually inside Call of Duty Classified's website, which if you guys want to try it yourself, then of course I'll link the website unless I don't, but remind me if I didn't, and also I'll put the codes that you have to put in also if you guys are interested in putting in yourself and looking at all this stuff yourself, which I personally can't right now. At least when I'm recording this, it's actually not working. I don't know exactly why that is, but how I'm actually getting it is from the COD Zombie subreddit. It's from Kalinine, I believe that's how you say his name, but regardless, I'll link him also down in the description if you guys want to check out his post. His post is actually really interesting in itself. But with that said, let's actually get into these papers because oh my gosh, is there a bunch of juicy stuff here. So we got 4 new pages from Drostan. These ones are actually a little bit different from the ones we've been getting, because the ones we've been getting were just kind of in the present time, at least in the game, because they were being written while they were on the blimp or the Zeppelin flying from the Darkest Shore to the Shadowed Throne. But these ones seems like they're actually from when he just originally went to Heligoland when started investigating stuff with the Nazis, and he left from there, which is interesting. But regardless, let's actually go through these and read them. So the first one, and I want to point this out right away, you can actually look at the top of the image right here, and it says 27, and you'll see with the next couple pages that it'll have 28, 29, 30. So we actually can see that Drostan's actually numbering his pages. That may become important in the future, but right now I can't see any significance of that. But regardless, it is something to point out. But what it says is, so if they're not going to pay me in marks, I'll make sure I'm compensated in some other way. Drostan does not work for free. Speaking of which, I had a chance to sit down and look over some pages I quote-unquote liberated. More illustrations by the Mad Monk of Heligoland. Much of the text has been rendered illegible due to water damage and my own subferred. I can't say that word for the life of me, but I had to tuck the pages in my knicker while crossing the security checkpoint. Let's just say there's not a lot of extra room in there for antiquities, but better folded up in my trousers than in framed one of some Nazi estate. So this is interesting. We'll actually see what he's talking about, but we kind of already know what he's talking about because we heard inside the Darkest Shore in the conversational quotes where it was Drostan actually talking about how he stole some stuff while he worked with the Nazis and the scrolls and stuff. So this may be one of the scrolls, or it might be the only scroll that he's talking about, but it is very interesting. We'll actually see more of it right here. So the next page, and keep note that this says 28 on it, but so we do know it's the next page from what we've just read, but it's actually so cool. As you guys can see, there's an illustration that you'll be talking about here, but what he says is, did a quick rendering of the pages here. Not my best work, but it helps to dissect the layer of the symbolism when I draw them myself. Okay, so what I'll do here, because he's just kind of putting stuff on the paper that we already see, but we actually have the real picture that he's talking about here instead of his drawing that was tweeted out by Call of Duty. So I'll put that on screen while I'm actually reading through what he's pointing out here. I'm pointing out myself also. He says the 4 knights. So he is pointing out the 4 knights here, which I think is safe to assume that the 4 knights are the Ravenlords that we've heard of in his last paper. So that is interesting, and one thing to point out. And then these faces are around this guy that we believe to be Barbarossa. He says that they are the face of guarding and protecting, which I am assuming this will relate to the Indian symbolism that he speaks of later and that we'll get into in a bit, but I don't exactly know how exactly that's relevant. But then the next one he points out are the black wings that we see Barbarossa on, well, just have, which he will come back to in a little bit, and we will also come back to. He says a regal sword, which we believe to be Barbarossa's sword, but there's another thing to point out about this sword, but regardless, we'll come to that in a little bit. And then he says, I believe the monk thinks the knights are angels, and he's worshipping them, or is he kneeling down before them out of fear? Which is interesting because we could actually see that the monk and he was interacting with the Ravenlords. So that is interesting. So this monk actually may be more important than I gave him credit for. I would just kind of push him off to the side, but he looks like he's actually an important character to this story. So I'll give it to them. I did not expect to see that monk return in any detail until now, but obviously he is back, so he may be actually important. But then the next thing he points out, and this is one thing I found fascinating, he points at the sword Barbarossa is now holding, and look what it's lacking. It's lacking the pommel. And this makes me think, okay, so if the sword's lacking the pommel, and of course the monk is on Heligoland, then is Barbarossa going to Heligoland to collect the pommel piece? So if that's true, so that means that we're doing what Barbarossa did already in the past, which is strange. How did it get back to this place then? Did the Ravenlords bring it back here to keep it hidden from people again, or why? I just can't think of why the pommel would return to Heligoland. I can't think of a really good excuse. But then the next thing he points out are the wings again of Barbarossa, and he says that, why are the wings dark, not angelic? So he's pointing out that maybe this is symbolizing, of course this is from the monk's perspective, but that Barbarossa isn't exactly a good guy here. So maybe Barbarossa is evil, and well, we kind of expect him to be evil, but this will also, I guess, signify that and kind of, you know, bring confidence to this. And the last thing he points out is that the monk is no expert on armor or weapons, but why wings? It makes no sense, and I agree. Why the heck does Barbarossa have wings in the first place? We were pointing out that they're black wings and they're not angelic and more like a demon, but why wings even in the first place? That is strange. Does Barbarossa actually have wings? I doubt it. I imagine it's some sort of symbolism that's going on here, but what's even going on here? I just can't. But anyways, the next page we actually have here is, of course, I'll read it for you guys and we'll actually see what's everything that's going on here. The text, from what I could decipher, relates to the story of this monk arrived on Heligoland to convert the locals to his faith. They weren't having it and decided he would be their next sacrifice to old Nertherus, not a kindly goddess. Apparently these 4 knights arrived just in time to save his keister. Record gets kinda loopy then. Winds, lightnings, and magical weapons, dead cultists. He ends up alone on this island guarding the raven's egg. He wrote, then he died. What is this? Wait, what? Okay, he mentions winds, lightning, and magical weapons, dead cultists. Like, what is even happening here? Okay, let's first thing point out is that the knights, the Ravenlords, actually saved him from being killed and sacrificed, and then they left him to defend the raven's egg, which I think we could assume is the pommel. It at least seems like it's actually the pommel, but why would they leave him? But which is weird. Maybe that this paper isn't them actually collecting the paper. I'll pull it back on screen here that we actually saw from, you guys will see on screen that it's missing the pommel. Maybe it's because this is when they were disassembling the sword and hiding it all over again. Maybe they are the ones who are hiding it right now, which would make 10 billion times more sense than actually collecting it from the exact same place. So this is probably what's happening here. They're actually just disassembling this thing and just hiding it all across the world, which, this is cool. This is actually really cool. Okay. Now, this is what I've really been waiting for this entire time. This last page. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me read this for you guys. Things would happen on that island. Fog rolling in with sounds that didn't belong. I got headaches with some frequency. Himmler said that Heligoland was Germany's Atlantis, a nexus point of electromagnetic energy. I didn't find anything to validate that, but I did uncover some artifacts that resembled a Plano-Indian tools. I'm probably saying plain, that's probably not how you say it, but do forgive me. Like those found in Yargon Odd. I don't know what that is again, forgive me, I don't know how to say these, but regardless, the tools caused any electronics to go haywire when brought near. The radio would screech unless it was tuned 38.9, 38.7. After a minute, we would hear voices. I threw the radio into the sea that night. Oh my gosh, like seriously, this is what I love in zombies, just these lines like this, and this is why I love Treyarch zombies so much, because they have these beautiful lines that just sound so cool, and this is it all over again. Just, oh my gosh, I threw the radio into the sea that night, the tools caused the electronics to go haywire when brought near them, the radio would screech unless we tuned it to 38.9 and 38.7, and then they would hear voices after a minute, like, oh my gosh, what's even going on here? I just love this so much, because there's just, I don't know what's going on here. It just catches my interest in mystery, but on top of that, it just sounds so cool. And oh my gosh, this is the coolest line I've seen in a really long time. Not only in zombies, but really anything that I've really been reading or listening to lately. It's just so cool. Oh my gosh, especially tops it off with "I threw the radio in the sea that night." Oh, beautiful, beautiful stuff. But another thing to point out here is that he did actually say, or Himmler actually said, that Heligoland was a German Atlantis, which does mean all those theories about Heligoland being Atlantis is actually true. They were all right. I doubted them, and that's why I never made a video on it. So looks like they were all right. Another thing that he does mention is that it was a nexus point for all electromagnetic energy, which I imagine will relate to the Geistkraft energy, and would make sense because that's where Stroud built all the zombies there, because they would make sense if that's where all the Geistkraft energy is. It makes sense that's where you would build all your zombies at. So that just seems to make sense to me. But anyways, that's about it for these notes. But I don't even know, guys. What do you guys think about this? But actually, there's one last thing, or 4 last things I want to look at, because we also got some more screenshots of the map, and you guys can see we have one right here that is the outside of the theater that we've pretty much already seen. We have another one of the outside of the theater, except this time it has a zombie. Then we actually have the boss zombie right here, which actually looks cool, unlike the last one. He just looked disgusting in the trailer, so he actually looks cool here. So hopefully he has more of this look in the map, because he kind of looks cooler here. But then the last one, and this is another thing I can't wait to, I just couldn't wait to show you guys this one. But it looks like, yes, we are going to be able to go inside the theater. At least that's what it looks like here. It looks like there's going to be a hole in the wall that we're going to enter it through, and oh my gosh, this is just beautiful. I honestly have been, I'm out of words here. I need to calm down and think about this. Okay. I'm just honestly so hyped for this map just because of this information alone. I was kind of interested in it when I was watching all the trailers, hearing the information. Being in Berlin just caught my interest in the first place, but this time it's just like, oh my gosh, especially this last line. I just gotta go over this line again. Just look at this. Let's just read it one more time. The tools caused any electronics to go haywire when brought near, and the radio would screech unless we tuned it to 38.9, 38.7. After a few minutes, we heard voices. I threw the radio into the sea that night. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait, actually I just realized something. Could radios even go that low into 38.9? I don't actually think so. Can they? I've never heard of that. But anyways, that's actually, oh, wait. Okay guys, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to check something, because I know there's actually radio on Call of Duty's classified website. I'm going to go check that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back sooner than I thought. I just realized that they don't have, this radio doesn't go that low. Okay, anyways, there's nothing there that we could really look at. We don't have 38.9, unfortunately, but maybe there's something there, or something more to that. But anyways, I'm just spending way too long right here at the end. But anyways, I'm going to go. But I'd actually like to hear what you guys are thinking about this. You guys liking all this information we're getting? You guys, I'm honestly loving it. I can't get over how cool this is. For once in my life, I'm actually really excited for World War II zombies. But anyways, just tell me what you guys think about this. But go ahead, go do all the normal YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, bell, share, watch a video multiple times over. Do all of that stuff. But anyways, I'm going to go, and I will catch you guys on my next video.